Here I'm going to show you how to make buttons out of paper using your punches. So if you get a bunch of just scrap pieces of paper, I am making a 1-inch circle button. So I am just going to punch out either 4 or 5 1-inch circles. Really simple. I'll do 4. This is pretty heavyweight cardstock, so with heavyweight cardstock you can get away with just using 4. I'm going to just take two-way glue, just a light glue, and cover 3 of these. And then you're going to just stack them, it's much easier to do with the tweezers, on top of each other, making sure to line up the edges as perfect as you can until you have a little stacked, kind of looks like a button already. Now you could just leave it like that and put the holes in it, and when you were done it would end up looking like this. But if you wanted to have a ring around it, like some buttons do, you would get a 3/4 inch circle punch. Punch your 3/4 inch circle first, and then take your 1-inch circle, center it around it, and punch out a 1-inch circle loop on the outside. Now if you really want this to stand out, you're going to want to do 2 of them. So once you punch out your 2 loops, you're going to use the same two-way glue, and you're just going to glue one down to the bottom and then one on top. So you just want to glue it right on top of your circles, and then the other one right on top of that. Now you're going to want to take a sanding block, because sometimes the edges are a little uneven. So if you just take a sanding block, you can get most of those edges down so it looks really smooth, and then you just want to go a light pass over your sides to make it all nice and even. So then you have just a nice smooth looking button. Now I use a pencil to draw where my holes are going to be. Now I use the crocodile to punch holes in this, but you can also just use a hole piercer to make smaller holes. You're just going to punch right through all the layers, and you have your 2 holes in your button. Now you can do this in any color or any size punch, and that way you always have buttons to match your projects. But to give it a final step like a real button would, if you take some Crystal Effects, you're going to want to just take your Crystal Effects and coat it right around the edges. Now if you're doing this with a class, or if you're doing a big project, you're going to want to do this part first so that they'll have about a half an hour to sit and dry, so that they won't be sticky and tacky. So you're just going to kind of smear that around. Now you're going to put it down on wax paper and just put a light coating of Crystal Effects over the top. And when this dries, this gives the button the look of a plastic button, just like a normal button does. And this way you can have them in any color you need to match perfectly with your projects. Now it takes about a half hour to dry, and then you just peel it up from the wax paper, and you can see some of the others. You can do it with a heart punch and make heart buttons, or a flower punch, make flowers. You can make bigger or smaller holes in the middle, but then you can see once it dries, it kind of looks like it's a plastic button. And that's all there is to it. Very simple.